Welcome back to the Filthy Report. My name is Jason Filthy Jones, bringing you the dirtiest information with the cleanest style. UFC Fight Night, Smith versus Clark. It's in the books. It's a wrap. Let's get into some fight talk. How you guys doing? Hopefully everything went great for you guys this weekend. Hopefully you were able to catch some fights. I hope you guys were able to catch the UFC fight. If not, I'm pretty sure you guys caught the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. But hey, you guys are here for the recap. I'll be getting into it, but before we get into that, just wanted to see how everything's been for you guys. As for me, to tell you guys what's going on in my life right now, it's been a crazy last 2 weeks. Ever since I got back from California, I've been running around doing photo shoots, plus juggling, taking care of my son. Also, we have a new puppy in the house, a 2-month-old puppy, which is half Alaskan Malamute and half boxer. And she is energetic as hell, and I've been having to deal with her. But I mean, it's all love, and it's all a blessing, it's all fun. Plus, trying to get everything taken care of for the Filth Report. It's just a lot, but I enjoy doing it, and always make sure you enjoy loving what you do. It's a lot of fun doing this. I'm always happy to make a video and put it out there for you guys. But you guys aren't here to hear all that. Let's get into this fight talk. So, first off, I want to give a huge shout out for Sue Mujarji, the Tibetan Eagle. If you guys haven't been noticing, in the last few couple of fights, they've been really pumping up the flyweight division, putting out guys and getting the flyweight basically moving ever since Henry Cejudo has retired, basically, with getting the belt wrapped around Davison Figueiredo's waist and just setting up different matches and getting that division moving. But with all that, Sue Mujarji, the Tibetan Eagle, is a freaking phenom coming into this weight class. I have to admit that it's kind of crazy that we're even talking about the flyweights, as they've been on the chopping block for the last, I want to say 6 years. But they're starting to develop really well. You're starting to see a lot of knockout artists come into the division, like Sue Mujarji. But let me explain something to you guys about this guy. He is a different kind of caliber of fighter. Reason being of saying that there's not a lot of people you're going to find that are going to be 5'8", 125 pounds that are able to fit into this division. And he's only 24. He has a way to go to grow, but he looks like an all-around fighter. He has some really good power in both hands. Has a really good ground game with it that comes with him. I can't wait to see what he's going to do in this division. And just to say, I mean, look at the top of the division. You have Davison Figueiredo, who is just a complete knockout artist, but also a submission technician the whole time. You have him going up against Brandon Moreno coming up in this, I think it's UFC 256. And you have you just have a couple of guys in that division that are really starting to develop and show people that the 125 division is not something just to overlook. I can't wait to see how the division develops over 2021, to see where they go with that. But that's all I have to say about the flyweights right now. Let's get into the next fight, which would have been that I talked to you guys about in the breakdown, was Ashley Evans versus Norma Dumont. Now, this fight didn't go any at all the way that I thought that it was going to go. Ashley Evans did come out very aggressive, pushing the pace, doing her usual, being that gritty, hard-nosed kind of fighter, just pushing the pace, trying to get you up against the cage, trying to get you down to the floor. But Norma Dumont sat back and waited patiently and showed you that the drop down to 125 is a really good one for her, because she carried over a lot of power coming from the 135 division, and she just put on a pace on Ashley that she wasn't able to handle. Where a lot of people thought Ashley would have the more advantage because of her grappling, her wrestling background, that even when she got taken to the floor, Ashley was kind of seeming like just a fish out of water. Now, don't get me wrong, Ashley's a great fighter. It just showed that how much of a better fighter Norma Dumont was that night, because she made Ashley look very amateur, and she was able to push the pace on Ashley the whole time from round one to all the way to three, and basically just eked out a decision against Ashley. Can't wait to see where she's going to go with this. I think she's going to be a really good add to the division of the 125 flyweight division for the women. Let's see where they go with her. I don't think she's just going to get tossed to the top 10. I think they're going to still sit her around in the top 15. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys see her going against like the top 12 or top 13 in the division. But yeah, stay paying attention to her. That's Norma Dumont. She's a really good fighter. I really do like her a lot. Also, as you guys know, this card got moved around a lot. So a lot of the fights that I did talk to you guys about, well, not a lot of the fights. The main card, the main event fight was supposed to be Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades got popped for COVID-19 and had to be removed from the fight. So they just basically scrapped that whole fight and bumped up Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark, which made the new co-main event Miguel Baeza versus Takashi Soto. Now, to start off with this, Miguel Baeza is probably just, he's looking phenomenal. His striking's really good. His submission game is really good. He's a high level black belt in jiu-jitsu. And just like how Ashley came off looking bad, Takashi Soto is no slouch. He is a knockout artist. He's phenomenal at his striking. It just seemed like he had an off night, and it just showed how good Miguel looked. Versus him, he made Takashi look like he was just once again an amateur fighter stepping into the pro leagues. But Miguel really pushed the pace on him, basically tagging him the whole time. Takashi Soto couldn't really get off any kind of offense in the first round at all, really. Just not even putting any combinations, not using his kicks or anything, pretty much going tit for tat, throwing one or two punches here and there, and just could never get his timing down against Miguel, and Miguel was just teeing off on him ridiculously to where he was able to push him to a very aggressive pace the whole time, getting into the second round and being able to take Takashi to the floor, taking his back, and then not really being able to get a rear naked choke, but able to transfer into an arm triangle and just taking out Takashi really quickly with that arm triangle and showing that how deafening his squeeze is. I'm going to say it like I said, just like Norma Dumont and with Miguel Baeza, he's going to be one of those guys that you want to pay attention to him. He's undefeated right now. I'm not sure where they're going to go with him next. But I see him breaking into the top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually gets on one of the ending cards, because they're still sort of building the cards because there are fights falling out. But I see him getting a top 10 opponent probably in the beginning of the next year. Other than that, moving on to basically the main event, which is going to be Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark. Now, not much to talk about this, but if you guys remember when I was talking in the breakdown, I said Anthony had a lot to answer for because he's been on a really bad skid right now, and it just seemed like he hadn't been fighting at the caliber of fighter that he could fight at. But he showed that he's back on track, and his mind's set and focused, ready to make that climb to get back at that title shot again, which is really good for him right now. He was able to basically just work Devin Clark in the first round and get him down to the floor, and showing that how high level a jiu-jitsu player that Anthony Smith is in the light heavyweight division. I liked how his transitions were, where he was able to switch up very quickly, and even when he was on his back, he didn't like panic or go crazy. He kept basically keeping the position to be able to, for him to get the submission, and controlling all the posture that Devin Clark was trying to get. And trust me, Devin Clark is a high level wrestler. It just, Anthony showed that maybe Devin was jumped a little bit too far ahead too quickly. Other than that, can't wait to see where Anthony goes from here. He did call out Paul Craig. Not the most interesting fight, but I get where he's going with here. He just got this win, so he kind of wants to build up that win streak. I think he wants to get his groove back in, and then he'll be clamming at the mouth to get that title shot against Jan, or who knows if the Jan and Izzy fight does happen, he might be having to go up against Izzy, which I don't see that much of a problem with it. They both used to be, Izzy is a 185er and Anthony Smith used to be a 185er. I just feel that it would be a really great fight. If that fight ends up happening, I'll go over it then. All right, guys, let's get into this breakdown of UFC Fight Night, Hermansson versus Vettori. Now, I wish I was coming to you guys with actually the breakdown of Hermansson versus Holland. Kevin Holland ended up falling out of the fight, and they have now booked Jack Hermansson versus Marvin Vettori. Now, with that being said, guys, let's get to the first match. And the first match I'm going to be talking about is going to be Montana De La Rosa versus Talia Santos. Now, this is your usual grappler versus striker kind of matchup. And the reason I say that is because Montana De La Rosa is actually a really good wrestler and submission artist. And Talia Santos is actually a really good kickboxer. Now, with that being said about them, the way I see this fight playing out is that you're going to see Montana come in and she's going to try to push the pace and she's going to be trying to take down Talia Santos very quickly. She's not going to want to stay at either the kickboxing range. She's going to want to either be all the way in and be in the boxing range or be able to take down Santos. And the way I see it playing out is going to be Montana basically shooting in, taking out Santos probably in the second round with a submission. For Santos, I see her that she's going to probably want to keep Montana at the kickboxing range and time the takedowns for Montana and try to get her knees to meet her in that middle of the head right there quickly and putting out Montana. But like I said, I'm going to take Montana with this in the second round with a submission. With that, let's move on to the next matchup, which is going to be Ovince St. Preux versus Jordan Hill. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that Ovince St. Preux is actually in the win column already. So people are looking at this matchup kind of weird because he's taking on an up-and-comer who is Jordan Hill. I think they couldn't really get anybody to match up with OSP. Also because OSP is no joke in his striking department. He's very weird. He's very awkward style. He gets his striking off at all kind of weird angles, and also always in his back pocket he has that Von Flute choke. Now, that is a weird choke because most people should be able to get out of that choke, but usually when OSP gets that locked up, it's basically that's it. It's a wrap. It's over. He's either going to put you to sleep or you're going to be tapping really quickly. Now, Jordan Hill is an undefeated fighter. He has a really good striking. He has really good power, but I just don't see him having the technical skill to take out OSP. And I think I'm pretty much saying that I think that OSP is going to be able to knock out Jordan Hill. Maybe he might be actually be able to take him out in the first round, but let's see. This is going to be a really good test. I think OSP is picking his challenges a little bit differently because he's trying to build up a big win streak, and then he'll be able to fight for that belt. And the thing that I'm really loving right now with light heavyweight is with John Jones removing himself from the light heavyweights. It's gave a lot of people that motivation to move through the rankings to get for that title shot, and it's opened the door for a lot of different fighters. So let's see how the fight plays out. And with all that, we're going to be getting into that main event, which is going to be Hermansson versus Vettori. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate in this a little bit. As much as I think Hermansson would be able to take this match, I'm going to put it this way. With Vettori is a really good kickboxer. He also has a really good wrestling background, but he does not have the submission or grappling background like Hermansson. Hermansson is a very, 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 very good on the floor, and he can lock up and get you get squeezes from any different angles. He has really good leg locks. He has really good chokes, and he's striking has improved. I mean, it's not at all at the level of what Vettori is. Vettori's more of a kickboxer, more of an American style kickboxer, and he has really good striking. But I see Hermansson coming in here trying to get Vettori to the ground very quickly and just locking up some kind of submission and getting him out of there. Now, the way I'm playing devil advocate with this is, you guys also have to remember, this is going to be Hermansson's his third fighter coming in to fight him. So with that, he started off with Darren Till, ended up with Kevin Holland, and then at a week's notice, he's now fighting Marvin Vettori. So what I'm saying with that is, not one game plan is going to work for those guys because they're very different fighters. Darren Till is more of a Muay Thai fighter. Kevin Holland has a good jiu-jitsu background, but also has really good boxing, doesn't really use his kicks. And then, like I said, Marvin Vettori is more of an American kickboxing style, and he has really good kicks and likes to keep you at range and throw a lot of big power. So what I'm seeing here is that the only game plan I could see for Hermansson that he's coming in is that he wants to get either whoever he was going to fight to the floor and submit them and get them out of there as quickly as they can. With that being said, I am taking Hermansson in this fight. I think he'll be able to lock up a submission probably in the first round and get Vettori out of there. But don't count out Vettori. He has really, really, really good striking. And he's able to put you out with one shot. So let's see how it goes. And with that being said, guys, that's pretty much all I have for the fights this week. Other than that, I have some fight news. But before we get to the fight news, I wouldn't be right and I wouldn't be doing myself a service if I didn't talk about the Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight. Now, first off, let's get with somebody needs to go wake up Nate Robinson and tell him, hey, boxing is not what you need to be doing. Stick to playing basketball. And to talk about Jake Paul, I do give props to Jake Paul, but I also hear he's having admirations that he wants to actually box. And as much as people are going to say, well, he's already boxing. Yeah, he's boxing, but he hasn't fought a high-level boxer yet. And until he does that, I wouldn't consider him boxing. I also heard that he's trying to get into MMA. For him, I would say, yes, he probably could do it. He does have an amateur wrestling background. I think he's wrestled in high school. I think he also might have wrestled in college. But put it this way, get on the regional scene before you try to go holler at Bellator or the UFC, because trust me, it's a lot more than what people expect it to be when you get into MMA. With that, the Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight, I have to say it was a decent match, I guess. No, it wasn't a draw. The other thing is, it was really cool to see two legends fight like that and use different styles than they normally use. I mean, well, Mike didn't really use that much different style. He just didn't go for many headshots. He went for more body shots, which I'm actually happy about because I thought Roy could get really hurt by him. But it was really cool seeing Roy pretty much use a different kind of footworking style and everything. But it really proves the point of what people say, that speed is the first thing to go and power is the last thing to go. Because Roy Jones was probably one of the best and fastest fighters, fastest boxers out there. And you just, to see him fighting at this age and trying to use his normal movements, but not able to really have that speed there anymore, and to see that Mike Tyson still had those power punches, it was really cool. But that's pretty much where it ends for me. The show was cool, kind of crazy, not what you were expecting from the commentator booth, the way it went. Would give props out to Israel Adesanya. I'm glad to see that you're breaking off and branching off and trying new things. But Other than that, that's all I wanted to say about that. Do I want to see another Mike Tyson fight? I'm good. I've seen enough. That's it. With all that being said, guys, let's get into this fight news, which is more like fight announcements. And first off, you guys remember, like I said in the breakdown, I would rather be bringing you guys the Hermansson versus Holland breakdown, but Holland fell out. But it's okay. He got rebooked already, and he'll be fighting at UFC 256 against Jacare Souza. Now, I do like that he still gets a big name. I do like that he's still getting a ranked opponent. Sucks that he's not getting the actual main event. But let's see him take on this match and see how he does and see if he can break into the top 10. How do I like the matchup? The matchup's okay, but let's pray to God that Kevin Holland doesn't end up on the floor with Jacare Souza, because that's nobody you want to end up on the floor with Jacare Souza. And don't count Jacare Souza out. He has really good striking, and he has a lot of power. Other than that, another fight that's been announced is also, it's basically a rematch. It's going to be Beneil Dariush versus Diego Ferreira on February 6th. And also on that same card, you're getting Clay Guida versus Michael Johnson for that February 6th card. Now, the other fight announcement I have has to be, if you guys haven't heard, Mr. Knockout sensation Joaquin Buckley finally has said it and said, man, shut up and sign the fucking contract to James Krause, and he wants to fight him at UFC 257. And let's see how it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC makes it happen. I feel like they're going to have to really pay James Krause some big money, but I hope Joaquin Buckley understands what he's signing up for. James Krause is no slouch at striking, and he's a really, really good jiu-jitsu player. He's improved a lot since he's became a head coach, and he's just competing and fighting just to compete. He has more passion in his basically his coaching job, but with him coaching has improved his fighting game and his fight IQ like ridiculously. Other than that, on that same card that they're trying to get booked is Shane Burgos versus Akeem Wandadu. Gonna be a great fight. If you guys haven't seen Shane Burgos, you guys should go look him up. He's a really good featherweight, and he's gonna be breaking in. He's a phenomenal fighter, has really good striking. Can't wait for that matchup. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much all I got for you guys this week. Like always, I want to thank you guys for coming by and checking out the Fight Talk and checking out the Filthy Report. If this is your guys' first time, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and hit that bell so you guys can always see when another Fight Talk is coming out. Also, I do another show which is called Let's Get Geeked Up. It does with everything that's about geeks. I'm talking anime, comic books, cartoon, movies, you name it. If it's something to do with geekiness, I'm talking about it. Other than that, guys, please, let's get the Filthy Report out there. Like, share, and subscribe. Like always, man, I am Jason Filthy Jones, bringing you the dirtiest information with the cleanest style. Peace.